Hello, Walking the Ropes fans. I am Blake, and welcome to the next episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review for AEW Dynamite from Chicago, Illinois. In today's show, we have a rematch to a match that ended suddenly, big men battle it out, and an epic 8-man tag. But before that, make sure to check out the Walking the Ropes link tree for all things Walking the Ropes. To open the show, we had a tag team match between FTR versus Proud and Powerful. And something interesting about FTR's jackets as they walked out, they had some stars on the back of them and on the front of them, with each color representing the brands of the titles they have won. They have won the NXT tag titles, the Raw tag titles, the SmackDown tag titles, and of course the AEW tag titles. They are probably one of the most decorated tag titles in modern wrestling right now. I think the only tag team to be able to say they've won all four of the major tag titles in North America, minus the Impact titles, obviously, but some people don't even recognize Impact as on the level of AEW and WWE. So, we had Dax and Santana starting out, and they went back and forth, exchanging some aggressive chops. Both men go for a toss, but are reversed by the other man. Then Proud and Powerful take control, and they hit two tope suicidas on the outside to their opponents. And then Proud and Powerful tossed FTR back into the barricade and double teamed them, tossing Santana into the pile. Ortiz comes in and Dax hits a big slam and then gets a blind tag. Cash comes in and tosses Ortiz into the posts and beats on him for a near fall. FTR then double teams Ortiz and Dax stomps on Ortiz's arm. Keep in mind, this is FTR's first match back from injury to, I believe it was Cash, when his arm got caught in the post at Fight for the Fallen, I believe it was. Cash then pulls the top turnbuckle off, and Dax and Cash go to kick Ortiz's arm into the exposed turnbuckle, but Santana comes in and makes the save, and Ortiz fights back to get the tag. Santana comes in and clears the ring out, hitting three amigos, followed by a frog splash for a near fall. Proud and Powerful then double teams Dax for a near fall, and Ortiz rolls up Dax, getting a near fall but sent into Cash, and then a brainbuster for a near fall as well. FTR then goes to double team Ortiz, but Santana makes the save, and Proud and Powerful double team Wheeler for a near fall. Proud and Powerful then goes for a double team, but is stopped by Dax and Cash, and then they hit a gory special for a near fall. Then Dax comes in, sets Ortiz up on the top rope. He hits a superplex. Cash was going to go for a frog splash. He misses. He hit. FTR then follows this up with Big Rig. That gets a near fall. It's saved by a flying Santana from the top. We get Proud and Powerful double teaming Cash with pretty much everything they could hit him with, and they get the win. Proud and Powerful defeats FTR. For my Malteser scale, I gave it a 4.25 out of 5. It was a fantastic match, I think. Great way to open Dynamite. AEW always knows how to open Dynamite. They've never disappointed, in my opinion. 2.0 and Daniel Garcia then talk about Darby because they plan to take that match away on Sunday. Hurting Darby is what they plan to do this Friday. Garcia says he plans to put him in as many holds as he knows possible to break whatever bones he can. We then get CM Punk make his way to the ring. He says he could do this for months, having the fans cheer his name and him not really do much of anything, even though he knows people are getting annoyed with him just kind of coming out and talking. They want to see him get physical. Says this Sunday could be the end for him, and that's why he's been drinking it in the way he has. Says he hasn't wrestled in years and doesn't know what will happen next. So he makes a promise, and before he can finish what the promise is, he's jumped by 2.0 and Garcia as well. And they're beating on him for a good while. And we get Sting and Darby coming down to make the save. They both take out 2.0 and Garcia, and Punk comes in. He is getting involved as well. He hits the GTS as Darby hits the coffin drop and Sting hits the Stinger Splash. And Darby and Punk stand face to face. Sting then gets on the mic and he says that he's always wanted to share a ring with Punk, and he gives him some respect. He says that it was awesome to work together, and says that All Out, Darby will take on CM Punk on his own, because he knows he's ready. And so yeah, it's going to be just just Darby Allin versus CM Punk. There will be no managers for either person. We then get a recap of Kenny versus Christian Cage, heading to All Out. And then we get Tony Schiavone talking with MJF. And MJF talks right about Jericho quickly. He says he will be taking Jericho's place in wrestling history and compares Jericho to Ali, saying he's come back one too many times. Says Jericho is willing to do anything to get back into the spotlight, and says he will end Jericho's career at All Out. We then get a singles match, Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans. Hardy jumps Orange quickly and is ejected by the referee. Evans hits a very big kick and beats on Orange because Orange was already beaten down by his boss, basically. Orange sends Evans outside and starts to come back and hits a big DDT for a near fall. Orange then hits a dive to the outside and hits a crossbody for a near fall. They then reverse each other, and Orange goes to the top rope, but is stopped by Evans, and eventually, after some back and forth up top, Evans hits a German suplex from the top rope, and then followed by a sky twister kick for a near fall. Evans continues to beat on Cassidy, and Orange just rolls up Evans for the win. Orange Cassidy defeats Jack Evans. I gave this a 3 out of 5. It was cool, but honestly, I think Orange's last 4 matches have been won by roll-up. And that's kind of his thing, yeah, but it is getting a little old. Like, he's had matches against Jericho. He's had matches against Cody, and they went the limit and whatever. And it's just kind of, I don't know, it's a little odd to see him just getting these roll-up finishes lately. I mean, like I said, it makes sense because that's kind of his character, but I think they're doing it a little too much here. And then Hardy comes back out and he beats on Orange, but the best friends come out and they make the save, but they're also jumped by the rest of the Hardy family office, and the Jurassic Express comes out to make the save. We then get Eddie Kingston talking about his game plan for Miro, and he says he's going for his neck because that's Miro's kryptonite. Miro says that he will only lay down for his wife. We get a video package of Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima, and then we move on to JR talking with Chris Jericho in the ring. Jericho talks about his 22 years starting in Chicago and says how JR was the man who gave him his start. JR asks why Jericho made the decision. Jericho says that it's because MJF is a piece of shit, but he's also like Jericho, and the only thing he has over Jericho is 3 wins. He says that he has to beat MJF and says he doesn't want to stop. And that's why he has to take the chance. He says if he loses, so be it. He'll go to commentary full time. Jericho says that MJF will not take it from him. MJF will have to be the best he has ever been. MJF says MJF doesn't have the balls to get rid of him. We then get a video package of Darby talking about his match with CM Punk. And he says he's annoyed, actually, by being the first called out on CM Punk's list. Basically saying, I should be the last on the list because it seems like Punk's already counting me out. And he says he needs to do the impossible and beat CM Punk at Chicago. And then we get a singles match between Powerhouse Hobbs versus Brian Cage. We get Cage getting the advantage here. He jumps Hobbs right before the match even starts, and he beats on him outside of the ring. And they get in the ring momentarily and roll back out quickly so the match can start. And Hook is distracting Cage, letting Hobbs take advantage. Hobbs then beats on Cage, and Bryan does start to come back, but Hobbs just bulldozes him. Hobbs continues to beat on Cage, and Cage reverses it finally and hits a flatliner. Follows it up with an exploder and beats on Hobbs for a near fall. Sorry. Cage goes for a clothesline, but Will Hobbs hits a spinebuster for a near fall. And then Cage hits a big flying knee, followed by, I believe they called it a deep sea driver, or an F5 it looked like. And then hits superplex. Hooks then distracts the ref, and Starks hits Cage with the FTW title. Hobbs hits Town Business for the win. Powerhouse Hobbs defeats Brian Cage. For my Malteser scale, I give this a 2.75 out of 5. A good match, but kind of expected. Pretty much, Taz was pretty much telling us this was going to happen from the get-go. He says, we always have a plan and whatever. So, I mean, kind of expected it from the get-go. We then get Malachi talking about Big Shotty Lee Johnson. He says that he's going to make him suffer. Simple. We get the factory, large members of the factory only, it appears, calling out Paul White with QT Marshall. And Paul White makes his way to the ring, and he's quickly jumped by the factory. He deals with them all, but swatting them off, and swats Solo out of the air. After he's cleared the ring, the Gun Club comes out to make the save, but it doesn't really seem like he needed the help, and it becomes apparent why. Billy Gunn then hits Paul White with the chair, and he stands over him, smashes him with the chair again, and they leave. And it seems like QT doesn't really know what happened, but kind of goes with it anyways, and the factory sets up Paul for a diamond cutter, and then QT stands over Paul. Tony Schiavone then talks with Dr. Britt Baker. She says that Rebel and Jamie will be in the Casino Battle Royal, and then says that there's a free agent signing for AEW, and she says it's her. I'm assuming her contract, she signed an extension or something like that. And she says that she also got permission to make her own match, and she's going to make a handicap match between Rebel and Jamie versus Chris Statlander this Friday, the Friday before her title match against Chris Statlander on Sunday. Smart girl. We then get a singles match between Penelope Ford with the Bunny and Ty Conti. And Ty dives on the two women outside of the ring to start and sends Ford inside the ring, and the match actually starts officially. Ty then tosses Ford around the ring and smashes Ford and hits a backbreaker. And a spinning knee followed by a pump kick for a near fall. Ty then goes to the top rope, and Ford stops her and starts to beat on Ty, sending her into the corner. The ref is distracted by the bunny by Penelope, and the bunny pulls Ty's hair. Ford then sends Ty out to the apron and follows it up with a springboard knee drop and just continues to beat down on her. Ty then starts to come back. She goes for a big pump kick but misses, and Ford goes for the same. Ty moves and goes to the top and hits a cross body, followed by a variation of a sidewalk slam. I couldn't really figure out what to call it. And she gets a near fall out of that. Ford then sends Ty into the ropes and locks in a submission in the middle of the ring, but Ty reverses it, locks in a calf slicer, and Ford makes it to the ropes. Ty then hits big pump kicks in the corner, goes for the DD Ty, but Ford fights out and hits a gut buster. Ty then rolls up Ford for a near fall, and the bunny distracts Ty, and Ty sends Ford into the bunny and rolls up Ford for the win. Ty Conti defeats Penelope Ford, and for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 3.25 out of 5. This was a solid match, and it had good storytelling for what was going on here. We had the Bunny who wanted Ty on her team, and she's not getting it. And now Ford seems to be on her team. And after the match, the Bunny and Ford beat on Ty, and wouldn't you know it, Ty's teammate makes a return. Anna Jay makes her way to the ring. And the other women just leave because they don't want to deal with her. And Thunder Rosa then talks about her chance in the Battle Royal, and she's quickly interrupted by Nyla and Jade. And she says, "Are you trying to intimidate me?" They say yes. She says she'll go down swinging, and she tries to beat on the girls standing around her. They beat her down and just stand off with each other, and Smart Mark Sterling tells them to wait until Sunday to fight between themselves. We then get an 8-man tag team match between Jurassic Express and the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers. And we get Doc and Luchasaurus starting out. And Doc just quickly beats on Luchasaurus in the corner. He's able to fight back, hitting a huge suplex. And then Doc is able to tag in Nick, while Luchasaurus tags in Phoenix. And they go back and forth, flipping around the ring, and the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers tag each other in, and they give each other super kicks. And then the Elite comes in and just takes out every member of the other team. Penta and Jungle Boy come back and double team Matt. And then we get Nick and Matt double teaming Jungle Boy and powerbombing him on the apron. Matt then beats on Jungle Boy and tags in Nick, and the Elite tags in quickly and just beats on Jungle Boy. The Young Bucks double team Jungle Boy, but he fights back and is dragged out by Carl, and Jungle Boy hits a clothesline and fights back in the ring. He then is able to get the tag as well. Phoenix then comes in and takes out everyone and then tosses Nick around the ring. The Lucha Brothers then double team Nick for a near fall, which is broken up by Matt. Nick then takes on both of the Lucha Brothers, and then he and Penta kick each other down. Carl and Luchasaurus come in, and Luchasaurus takes control, taking on both Good Brothers. Luchasaurus hits a choke slam on Nick to the outside onto the pile of everybody out there, and flips Jungle Boy over his shoulder to the outside onto everybody else. He then choke slams Carl inside and hits a moonsault for a near fall. The Lucha Brothers go to double team Carl, but the ref was distracted, and Brandon Cutler sprays Phoenix with the cold spray, and the Good Brothers hit the Magic Killer for a near fall. The Young Bucks then come in, they hit the BTE trigger, but Phoenix moves, and they end up kneeing each other. He hits a double cutter and goes for a crossbody, but is caught. The Young Bucks hit the Meltzer driver, and they get the win. The Young Bucks and the Good Brothers defeat Jurassic Express and the Lucha Brothers. For my Malteser scale, I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was a solid match. I loved it. Great storytelling in it, for sure. And after the match, Kenny comes to the ring, and he has the Elite take out everyone, and the Good Brothers hit the Magic Killer, through the table on Luchasaurus, and then continue to beat down on Jungle Boy. But Cage, he comes in the ring to make the save, but is stopped by the Elite with kendo sticks. And that's when Kenny tells Don Callis to drop the cage. After having some meetings with Tony Khan, I guess they pickpocketed him or whatever, found the keys in some way, and they have the controls to the cage, and they lower the steel cage down. The Lucha Brothers and Christian Cage are the ones that are stuck inside, and they're getting beaten on. We get reinforcements coming in. We get Dante Martin. We get Frankie Kazarian, Marco Stunt. They all try to scale the cage, but they're stopped. They're swatted with the kendo sticks, knocked off, sprayed with the cold spray, whatever they can to get them not in the cage. And then we get the Lucha Brothers are handcuffed to the ropes by the Good Brothers, I believe, and Nick just kind of kicks running between the two of them. And they then turn their attention to Christian. And the Young Bucks and Kenny hit the BTE trigger. They handcuff him and continue the beatdown as AEW was going off the air. For my Maltesers, or for my overall of this show, I gave it a 4.75 out of 5. It was a really solid show, booked really well, a great go home to All Out, makes me really want to tune into the pay-per-view. And yeah, it was just fantastic. Every match on there. Something that's interesting to note that I've heard, Pac and Andrade will not be happening at All Out this week because of some travel issues. I'm not sure for who. If that's true or not, I'm not 100% certain, but we shall see when we come to All Out. For my matches of the night, because this one has multiple, I gave it to FTR versus Proud and Powerful because they finally gave us the match they wanted to give us initially. And then we get the 8-man tag team main event. That was just awesome, and the finish for it was fantastic. And then my segments of the night is CM Punk is getting physical finally. You know, we didn't have to wait until Sunday to see him do stuff. He actually was able to get some momentum going into the pay-per-view. We also had Anna Jay returning. That was something huge. I'm so happy to see that. And the last one is the Elite Beatdown. It was such a good moment. I absolutely loved it. Like, it reminded me a lot of what the Nexus did when they debuted. Got a lot of heat for it and just was absolutely perfect. For my performers of the night, and again, yes, it is performers of the night, I give it to the members of FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood. And Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. The main event guys as well, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Jurassic Express, obviously, the Lucha Brothers, Penta El Cero Miedo, Rey Fenix, the Elite, the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson. Just fantastic performers. All of it was just amazing, and I was impressed with the show as always. But that is all for this episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review. Thank you all for dropping in. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever we upload a video. And I'll see you in the next one.